Okay, this is video number 2, 7th grade CBT practice test, question 11. Which one is best for a sample? Which sample should the company use to arrive at the most reliable conclusion? Okay, over here, we only have one sales department and here one sales department. This one has each sales departments, but only one location, and this one has ideal. Each sales department, all three of them, if you read the question, from each location. So that's obviously the one that's going to be closest to the entire population. Okay, here we have to vary the length of 8.5 and 11 by 1/20%. So let's bring the calculator here and let's start by finding out what that percentage is. Is 1 divided by 20. That's the fraction, and then percent means divide by 100. Sorry, I'm making it wrong. Have to make sure divided by 100 like that. So it's 5 times 10 to the negative 4. I had hoped. So as a decimal, let me write it down. That's 0.0005. So now I need to multiply that number. Always clear your calculator. 0. times 8.5. And that's the amount we need to subtract from, excuse me, 8.5. Once again. Two zeros and 4 to 5. Clear. So 8.5 minus 8.49575. That's the amount that 8.5 can be reduced by that percentage. And we're looking for the smallest acceptable area. So let's do the same thing with number 11. I'm gonna pause the video. So I found the calculations for what 11 inches would be reduced. Pretty slim chances there, 10.9945. So to find the area, we'll multiply length times width. So I'm going to type that exactly as it says, 8.49575 times 10.9945. And that's my answer. So I have to round to the nearest thousandth or 3 decimal places. We can see that that number would be the 6, 93.406, but we need to look at the number ahead of 6 to decide if it rounds up to 7 or stays at 6. The next number is a 5. Therefore, the answer is 93.407. That was a long question, not difficult, but long. The dimensions of a rectangular pool are 24.5 feet by 13, and the depth of the water is 4 feet. Each cubic foot contains 7.48. How many are needed to fill the pool at 80%, excuse me, capacity. So let's bring the calculator again. Let's multiply the 3 dimensions at 100%. That would give us 24.5, sorry, 24.5 times 13 times 4. That's 1,274 cubic feet. So let's find what 80% capacity is. So we're going to multiply 1,274 times 80% or 0.80, and I get 1019.2. So that's 80% capacity of the rectangular pool. So now I'm going to need to multiply that number, 1019.2, 1019.2 times, that's cubic feet. So each cubic foot contains 7.48 gallons. So times 7.48, and let me see if there's any rounding. I don't think so. 7623616 is the answer. It says to the nearest tenth. So the nearest tenth is the 1. So I need to look at the 6 to decide whether the 1 goes to 2 or stays as a 1. And 6 is more than 5. So from 5 to 9 on the next number, we move up, we round up. So the answer, the correct answer is 0.62. Okay, so this is about cutting a cylinder. One gets a rectangle if you cut it one way, and the other one is a circle. So your answer has to be obviously the one of them. So David cut a vertical cut up and down. Antonio. Made a cut to the base, which is a circle. Something like that. Okay, so let's see if this is proportional. All right, so when we have a table like this, we find the difference. From 6 to 9 is 3. And from 5 to 7.5 is 2.5. The table is missing the value of 10. So it jumps. Now it's going to jump from 9 to 15, which is 6. That's okay because that's 2 times 3. And from 7.5 to 12.5 is 5. So that makes sense. So we can see the proportion because 3 times 2 is 6. And 2.5 times 2 is 5. So even though the table is missing the value of 10 and 12, there's if it had 10 and 12, we will go at a constant rate of 3 and 2.5 inches of snow. So there is obviously a proportion here. If we divide 6 divided by 5, let's do the best test yet. If it's proportional, whenever I divide the time by the snowfall in inches, it's gonna be the same value. So 6 divided by 5 is 1.2, okay? What about 15 divided by 12.5 is 1.2. And finally, just to be thorough, 9 divided by 7.5. It is 1.2. So that means that it's a proportion. That means that this function goes through the 0.00. That means that there was zero snow or not present when there was zero storm. So it goes through the origin. And now the amount is increasing by the same amount. We found that amount to be 1.2. It's the same amount every time. So that's all there is to that. Okay, circumference and area. So the area of a circle is pi, or 3.14, times the radius squared. How do we find the radius? The circumference divided by the diameter, by pi, sorry, is the diameter, and the diameter divided by 2 is the radius. So let's do that with the calculator, of course. $53.38 divided by 3.14. We know we're doing things right when we get a whole number. 17 is the diameter. So diameter 17. Now let's divide 17 by 2 to get the radius. 8.5. So my radius is 8.5. I need to square that and multiply it times 3.14. Okay, so let's do that. Make sure we clear just in case we don't want to have any memory information there messing up our answers after we do all the work. So 8.5, I can do to the power of 2 with this key. Get the answer right there and simply times 3.14. 3.14. And that's the area. There is no rounding. So I'm going to copy it exactly from the calculator. Okay. The unit rate per teaspoon. So that has to be on the bottom. The unit rate is at the bottom. So we're going to have sugar over vanilla. So that is 2/3 complex fraction over 1/2. And I need to get a unit rate on the denominator of this proportion. So this is 1. How do I get from a half to a full? From 50 to 100? I need to, that was easy. I need to multiply times 2. So times 2 over 1, if you will. So this does give me the 1 on the bottom that I need for the unit rate, and this is 4/3. So that means 4/3 cups of sugar per teaspoon of vanilla. So all of that is set there. All I need to input here is the fraction, 4/3. I have a fraction key here. It's 4/3. Sorry. Fraction 4/3. And that's gonna be that for this section of the video, section 2. We will come back to question 18 on the next video.